Hello and welcome to today's session of Government Budget. Today I am going to discuss about budgetary deficit. First, I would like to tell you about meaning of budget deficit. It can be defined as the excess of total estimated expenditure over total estimated revenue including borrowing. Its formula is budget deficit is equal to total expenditure minus total receipts including borrowing. Budget deficit can be of three types. Number one, revenue deficit. Number two, fiscal deficit. Number three, primary deficit. Number one, revenue deficit. First, its meaning. This deficit occurs in revenue budget of the government. Revenue deficit is concerned with the revenue expenditure and revenue receipts of the government. Its formula is revenue deficit equals revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. In other words, we can say that government revenue is insufficient to meet the expenditure on normal functioning of government departments and provision for various services. Now let us now move to implications of revenue deficit. Number one, a high revenue deficit warns the government to cut its expenditure or to increase tax and non-tax receipts. Number two, it indicates the amount required to be borrowed and expected interest liability on it. Number three, it generates inflationary pressure on the economy. Number four, higher borrowing would increase the future burden to repay the loan amount and interest payments. Now, how we can tackle it? Or what are the measures to reduce revenue deficit? There are two measures to reduce revenue deficit. Number one is measure to reduce public expenditure. How it can be done? By two ways. Point A, by drastic reduction in wasteful expenditure, that is subsidies. B, by curtailing non-planned expenditure. And the other measure is to increase government revenue. Government can increase its revenue by increasing existing tax rate and impose new taxes, or increasing non-tax receipts, or effort should be made to increase income from public sector enterprises, or tax evasion should be controlled. Now, second type of deficit is fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is the excess of total expenditure over total receipts. Its formula is fiscal deficit is equal to total expenditure minus total receipts excluding borrowing. It has following implications. Number one, debt trap. Fiscal deficit refers to total borrowing requirement of the government. Borrowing creates problem of repayment of loans and also of regular interest payments. Number two, foreign dependence. Government also borrows from the rest of the world, which is associated with economic interference by the lending countries. It causes economic slavery. Number three, causes inflation. The government resort to borrowing from Reserve Bank of India. This increases the circulation of money in the economy and creates inflationary pressure if there is excess supply of money. Number four, financial burden for future generations. Borrowing leads to burden for future generations as payment of loans and interest on loans gets accumulated. Now, how it can be financed? It can be financed by two sources. Number one, by borrowing. How? Fiscal deficit can be met by borrowing either from domestic sources or from external sources. Domestic sources include commercial banks. External sources include foreign governments and international organizations. Secondly, it can be financed by deficit financing. The government may borrow from the RBI against its securities to meet the fiscal deficit. RBI issues new currency for this purpose. This process is known as deficit financing. Now, what are the measures to reduce fiscal deficit? There are two measures to reduce fiscal deficit. Number one is by reducing public expenditure, and second is by increasing revenue. Now we shall move to third part, that is primary deficit. Primary deficit refers to the difference between fiscal deficit of the current year and interest payments on the previous borrowing. Its formula is primary deficit equals equals fiscal deficit minus interest payments. Implications and measures of primary deficit are same as I told you of fiscal deficit. Now we shall distinguish between fiscal deficit and primary deficit on the basis of 3 points. First one is definition. Primary deficit is the difference between fiscal deficit and interest payments. Fiscal deficit, it is an excess of all anticipated government expenditure over the anticipated government receipts of the year. Second is formula. Primary deficit equals fiscal deficit less interest payments. Formula for fiscal deficit is total expenditure minus total receipts excluding borrowing. Third basis is indicator. Primary deficit indicates borrowing requirement of the government to meet fiscal deficit other than interest payments. And fiscal deficit indicates the liability of the government in the form of repayment of loan with interest. And lastly, the difference between revenue deficit and fiscal deficit. Again, revenue deficit and fiscal deficit can be differentiated on the basis of 3 points. First one is definition itself. Revenue deficit is the excess of revenue expenditure over revenue receipts in a year. Fiscal deficit is the excess of all the anticipated government expenditure over the total anticipated government receipts in a year. Second point is on the basis of indicator. High revenue deficit indicates indebtedness in the current budget on account of total revenue receipts of the government and expenses proposed in the budget. Indicator of fiscal deficit is that it indicates borrowing requirement of the government. It raises the liability of the government in the form of repayment of loan together with the interest. And lastly, the formula of revenue deficit. Revenue deficit equals revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts, or when revenue expenditure is greater than revenue receipts. And formula for fiscal deficit is when total expenditure is greater than total receipts. Total expenditure equals revenue expenditure and capital expenditure, and total receipts equals revenue receipt plus capital receipts. Thank you. Don't forget to give your comments.